A very good evening to everybody watching. Thank you for joining us tonight on the evening review. My name is Tewan Jabela. Tonight on the platform we are joined by Emma Muteka. She is the councillor for the Windhoek West Constituency here in the Commerce region. We want to hear what her journey since ascending to that office some 5 years ago, how it has been, and whether there will be appetite from her side, and of course the ruling party SWAPO, which she represents, to deploy her ahead of the election again later this month. Thank you very much, Honorable Councillor, for making time. It's a real pleasure to confirm everything first and foremost.
Yes.
Are you seeking re-election?
Yes, I am seeking re-election, and good evening to you too, sir. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Yeah, wonderful. So you went through the process, these primaries and all that.
Yes.
And you cruised through all of that.
Cruised would be the nice word to use. However, this time around I didn't cruise.
Yeah.
I was the only sole candidate. There was no cruising this year.
That's cruising, actually.
Yes.
That's more without any derailments along the way. Okay, wonderful. Do you think that is a massive vote of confidence from the party to say, look, we are pleased with what you've done, whatever, or we have confidence in what you can do still, and therefore will not even subject you to any of those internal competitions?
Well, I would want to believe that that's exactly the message. And you do know that our party is moving into the line of not only women empowerment, but youth empowerment as well.
Yeah.
Toiva, I must tell you that in 2020, it was not easy. It was a challenge. And, sitting here and reflecting, I fully understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Change is crazy. It's uncomfortable to accept. You have a young person, they probably feel you don't possess the correct skills to run an office as big as that. So there were so many questions. Will she be able to do it? How will she do it? And so I think I've proved myself.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Okay.
Yes.
You think, because of course when young people like yourself are put in those very serious positions of responsibility, it's also, you become a poster child of either youth empowerment also, and women empowerment. Do you think you have acquitted yourself to the extent that we can now say the girl child can actually do the job?
Yes, confidently, I can confidently say that.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that I got to a point personally to ask myself, what goes beyond women empowerment?
Yeah.
What goes beyond youth empowerment? Even if I have to leave this earth today, what legacy do I leave behind? How relevant am I? How do I continue to remain relevant?
Yeah.
And so, yes, I can say that, this is, I also just need to say that I think it was a interesting journey for me, because I just realized that I was the very first born free to stand for this position in the whole country.
Really?
The very first, the very, very first.
Wow.
And so for me, it was an issue that we can probably categorize as trend setting, but more so opening the door for the young Namibian child. Yeah. You realize that I say young Namibian child and not young girl child. Yeah. I'm talking about both, the boy child and the girl child. It wasn't easy, but here we are, like I said, and I can confidently say that yes.
Okay. Just a last question on that. Do you think your ascendance was based on those factors of youth or women, or was it organic? You just happened to be also young and a woman? I
think it was organic. Quite frankly, based on what I was able to, accomplish in the office, and just basically being myself, regardless of the fact that I am a young woman. The fact that I was able to really bring the community, move the community from point A to point B. I think that's also what really played a role. But also I've realized that, Toivo, we become mentors indirectly of people who look up to us. And I used to think it was the younger generation, but it seems it's both the young and the old generation, or the older generation, that actually look up to us. So for me, I think this is quite big. I don't take it lightly. I'm not taking it to say I'm playing with it, or in a light language per se. But yes, I confidently can say that It's definitely just because of the person that I am, not Emma, but Emma the councillor, and the achievements that we're able to achieve through the constituency office.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can highlight some of those achievements, of course, I'm sure there ought to be a lot, but maybe if you can summarize those and then we can ventilate them as we go. Was it a baptism of fire those 5 years?
Yes, it was. And I always like to start with this. You know, as a young person, you enter a space with a hot head, for a lack of a better word. I came back with my tail between my legs. And I'm very happy that I also had an opportunity with my predecessor before he passed to say two things.
Who was it?
It was Honorable Trepper.
Yes.
I think we had about 47, maybe 49 years age difference. And I had an opportunity to say two things to him before he passed. The first one was to apologize, because I judged him from a point where I was standing to say, but why isn't he doing this? This and this can be done. And I solely did that because I felt I was better. No, that's not the situation. Until you're in the seat, you actually don't understand what faces you. And then the second thing that I said to him was to say thank you, because he believed in me. He supported me, you know, as he left office. He was the one who was, you know, campaigning. And that for me spoke volumes. We're talking about intergenerational leadership, and he's really, you know, set the trend. So in terms of, you know, just collectively, or, you know, summarizing in terms of the projects that we're doing in the constituency office, we focused solely on security projects. We also focused on educational projects. We focused on SME support projects, and quite a lot of you know, different outreach projects in terms of offering, you know, stuff like legal aid for our community and so forth. But they're quite a lot. Yeah.
One of the issues that get raised time and again is the way offices like yours are structured in this sea called government. Without proper budget support, you have very lean pocket change, really, to just run the office and really do things, maybe sometimes out of your own creativity, approaching the business communities and whatnot. In that sense, how was the experience? Do you feel that you could have done much more if things were different in terms of allocations and whatnot?
Yeah, I think, yes, definitely I could have done better in terms of, you know, service delivery had the funding been much more better. But Toivo, I always look back and I say, those of us who are within the city are actually very privileged, because the law does say that Commerce Regional Council is owed 5% of the profits from City of Windhoek. So we do, you know, get some money from there. The Regional Councils Act also expands on, you know, the possibility of us creating our own revenue. So the Commerce Regional Council creates its own revenue through renting out of property that we own. So we get this, and this is now added to, you know, identifying what you would say a funding for constituency. But I also need to outline that in terms of the structure, constituencies do not have a budget. What has a budget is the Regional Council. And this comes from our mother ministry, which is the Ministry of Ministry of Urban. Now, the interesting thing is that, Toivo, in Commerce, we've got 10 constituencies, of which 1 is rural, 7 are informal, and 2 are what you call, they have an interesting word now, apparently the posh constituencies. And mine happens to be one of the posh constituencies. Now, the interesting thing is that there's a whole budget that's sitting there, and we now need to divide it amongst ourselves as 10 constituencies. And I always, you know, wanted to educate the people to say, guys, it's tough here because I'm competing against a rural constituency, and I'm competing against informal settlement constituency based. I mean, informal, you know, constituencies that are informally, you know, based. So it's quite an issue, because you bring your project and you say, we have an idea of, you know, procuring fencing, for example, when it comes to safety and security, and you're competing against somebody that needs water, electricity, and sanitation. Who do you think is going to be given this this budget? And it's very interesting that you also asked me this question, because I'm not so sure if people know that for the past year, we have been trying to fight for something that's called the CDF, the Constituency Development Fund. And I know that it's currently now being discussed or was tabled by the minister himself. It's now changed from CDF to RCDF. And we're really just hoping that at least with this funding, one will be able to, accomplish more service delivery. But also, Toivo, something that we undermine is the power of decentralization. Yeah. Windhoek is cluttered. Windhoek is, we're suffocating at this point in time. I mean, census can say it to you in terms of how many people we have in commerce alone. But if we do look at, expanding and decentralizing services in other regions, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to, declutter, or we'll be able to decongest. I can give you now an example to say that within my constituency, we have the Central Hospital. And the Central Hospital is the only government facility that offers oncology services in the whole country. But I'm, privileged to have also, been part of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Health. And we're happy to hear that when we did our oversights, Walvis Bay is now, planning to move into the line of decentralizing, oncology services. So we're moving to, in a good direction. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure had we had the funds and sufficient funding would probably be the right word to put it, more service delivery would have been on the ground. Yeah.
One question that I've asked your fellow posh constituency candidate, yes, that is Mr. De Brain, the brain of Windhoek East, was, what do you do in a constituency like yours? Wealthy, suburb, upper income class, really.
Basically posh.
Yeah, really posh. As opposed to the example that you gave, that if I'm in Moses Garweb, I have people who are unemployed, they don't have water, sometimes, or ablution facilities.
Yes.
In yours, what do you do to really improve the lives of that are already improved, actually?
Yes. Thank you so much for that question, Toivo, and I'm happy that you've asked it. You must also understand that based on our different dynamics, we then would want to address the issues based on that. Something that's very interesting in our constituency is that we are the hub of everything. We're actually the life of Windhoek. Majority of the primary and high schools are in Windhoek West. All the high learning institutions are under Windhoek West. The only VTC that is in, Windhoek is falling under Windhoek West. Majority of the people come to work in Windhoek West. So the question was to say, out of 7 days, when I had a conversation with my colleagues and I said, guys, we're 7 days in a week. Out of 7 days, your people are in my constituency for 5, they're in your constituency for 2. So that indicates already what our issue is in Windhoek West. Should anybody need health, services, they're not going to go back to your constituency. They have to receive that those medical services within the constituency. As we speak right now, classes are congested, Toivo. They are congested because we're dealing with a lack of classrooms, or a lack of schools rather, in the other constituencies, because all the other kids from the other constituencies congregate or they come and receive an education in Windhoek West. So what do? We pay attention to these issues. We try to build, classrooms, renovate classrooms, create safer, spaces within our constituency to make sure that every single child has a place to receive education. And then it doesn't stop only at the buildings. You talk about furniture. We realized that we had a crisis in Commerce region itself in terms of, desks and chairs. And we took it upon ourselves to do research to say, how can we resolve this issue? And we realized that purchasing something, a chair or a desk from scratch was really, really quite expensive. And already with us struggling with funds, it was just not going to work. So we decided to improvise. We went to the schools and we collected all the, frames for the chairs and the desks. We entered into an agreement with the VTC as well as Pioneers Boys, because Pioneers Boys also has that vocational service, and they refurbished these chairs and we sent them back into the schools. So in a nutshell, that is basically what we do. We also work hand in hand with the neighborhood watches in terms of safety and security, identifying hotspots so that we can leverage some sort of fund for us to put up CCTV cameras, as well as material that would help to close off riverbeds or hotspots that we identify. The other thing that we also do is try and assist our young people who are sitting at home and faced with unemployment. We have something that you call the income generating activity that aims at supporting, SMEs. And this is, I think, for me personally, one of my favorites, because we really were able to not only fund the young people, but some have also received training in order for them to be prepared for this market. Lastly, we also look at the institutions that are within the constituency. For example, we have the Namibian Correctional Service. It falls under Windhoek West. And we realized that these colleagues do not have enough uniforms, or when you go and visit them, you realize that the uniforms are not in a presentable, humane state. So we would go as far as getting material, handing it over to them and saying, listen, you have a workshop, you can make your own uniform, so we'll meet you halfway. We'll provide you with the material, and you guys go ahead and you sew your own outfits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We go for a very short break and return with Councillor Emma Muteka.
Life is unpredictable, and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as 50 Namibian dollars a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
We continue the conversation here on the evening review with Councillor and candidate Emma Muteka. Now, give me, if you don't mind, what is your educational background? I'm asking in the context of the fact that maybe you are trained in a particular field, and by virtue of your position, you are no longer confined to that field. You now have to understand broader issues, multi-sectoral issues.
Yes.
In that context.
I'm trained in the law field, but I'm currently also pursuing studies in the political field to make sure that I capacitate myself and understand the environment so much better. And I'm doing this because we have a perception to understand that whatever it is that we come with, we'll be able to, tackle it. I was taken aback, Toivo, more so when it comes to issues of governance, when it comes to the issue of integrity within that spacing. I've realized that there's quite a lot that one has to learn. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how difficult is it to be in your position when so much of the things that you can accomplish are actually dependent almost on the goodwill, if you like, and competence of others? I mean, you spoke about universities, for example. If NAST, which is in your constituency, has issues around student accommodation, it's not your direct problem to solve, but when you get to the podium and say, vote for me again, people say, oh, but there are students within your area that are suffering. How do you juggle around those things?
Well, in a layman's language, the responsibility of a council is to be a transmitting belt between the community and that of government. So it indirectly becomes my responsibility to make sure that we liaise with the relevant stakeholders, in this case, the Ministry of Education, to make sure that you know, issues such as student accommodation has been taken care of, you know, but also just to make sure that whatever it is that the community is faced with is escalated or, you know, tabled at the correct table. You know, and it goes back again to decentralization. You know, when it comes to decentralizing functions from certain ministries to maybe regional councils. So yeah, it comes into that line, Toivo. It remains our responsibility as councillor. And I think maybe this would also be the good platform to discuss issues pertaining to municipal issues, because there's been quite a back and forth situation. Yes, in terms of, you know, when it comes to municipal issues, it could be our responsibility as regional councillors. Indirectly it is, because I am the one who's responsible to make sure that the concerns of my community has been, you know, cascaded or given to the municipality to make sure that these things are indeed implemented. But at the end of the day, it's a perception that public has, and I'm really hoping that maybe we can do better in future in terms of educating our people in terms of what our mandates are from regional council and local authority, being City of Windhoek. So yeah, in a nutshell, it is our responsibility at the end of the day, but provided that we get this information from our people, and we can get it in two ways. One, I think as leaders, we really undermine, you know, public engagement or just direct engagement with your community members. I always said, for me, it just doesn't make any sense that you provide something to someone simply because of, you know, a perception of your eye. For me, it just doesn't make any sense. Speak to the person and understand what exactly they need, and give the horse that which the horse needs. It just doesn't make any sense. So, and the second one is for the public to actually make the constituency offices a, you know, a place of, they shouldn't be strangers. They should be their second home. They should be comfortable, and it's my responsibility as a councillor to say, the doors are open, please come through. What are your issues? Let me hear you, let me listen, and let me see where I'm able to assist you. And for us to also stop making empty promises, Toivo. You know, in 2020, there was a journalist who said, look, we're reading through your campaign, and we're not seeing promises here. You keep repeating the word commitment. And I said, yes, because I'm committing to trying my level best and seeing how best we're able to assist the community. Yeah.
You see, the urban constituencies are very difficult places, especially for incumbents like yourself.
Yes.
Even for aspiring candidates, because a guy in Okalongo, where I come from, the councillor there is the go-to person for the community. It's a conveyor belt proper, in the proper sense of the word. Whereas in your constituency, if there are potholes that the City of Windhoek somewhat did not yet attend to, there is that blurry line, which could compromise you, actually, especially in a period like this. Yeah, what is Emma talking about? There are potholes in the constituency when the City of Windhoek actually didn't attend to that. In situations, and I know you spoke about that just like that, but I thought you could just tell me again that where does that leave you? The matter is there, it's glaring, and you are committed and you're communicating, but somehow the third party that is actually the authority on that subject is not, it's not coming to the party.
There's so much power in the community, Toivo. The first step is obviously to speak to our counterparts who are from local authority and say, colleagues, people are not happy with potholes. And it's funny that you're speaking about potholes, because that has been the question for the past month. You want us to vote for you, but look at those potholes. How long did it take for these potholes to be fixed? And when they are fixed, they're still not happy with the quality of, you know, the potholes. So for me personally, I've always said, we will give City of Windhoek, for example, you know, 2 opportunities. We'll write you 1 letter, we'll write you the 2nd letter. The 3rd one is going to come from the community. We will call for a community engagement where the communities would be allowed to, you know, express or air their views. But in that, Toivo, I've realized that in the past 5 or 4.5 years that I've been in office, people tend to also just become tired because they're complaining about the same thing over and over, year in, year out. and it's just not happening. So it's a catch-22 situation. It does leave me personally as incumbent in the red zone, because people are really, upset, and majority of the issues within our constituency are really related to, municipal services. So yeah, we try our level best. We see what we can do, but I'm really happy to say, some areas are, things are quite attended in a short time of space. For example, street lights, the issue of water or the issue of electricity. Municipality really does come through. But majority of the people are really upset, and they think it's the councillor's, issue. And it's funny that we're talking about this. Just this morning, I had a meeting with a resident who was really upset with, the recruitment of the NDF that's currently ongoing, and saying, look, we've been applying for the past 2 years and we're not getting through, and you're not responding to us or giving us feedback in terms of why were we not successful, not knowing that the constituency office has got absolutely nothing to do with that. It's the Ministry of Defense. We just received the application forms and, stamped to verify that indeed this person does reside within the Windhoek West constituency.
Yeah. We have a minute left, Councillor. Give us the way forward. If Emma Muteka is re-elected, are we going to see even a better version of Emma in the next 5 years? What are the promises?
First of all, Toivo, I did say I don't make promises. I make commitments. So no, I'm not promising anything. I'm committing to safer spaces within Windhoek West. That's the top of my priority. And looking at making sure that we continue to support the youth, especially when it comes to different initiatives. I now know how to drive the car. I didn't know how to drive the car. I didn't know how to put in the gears. Now I do. So it's going to be us hitting the ground running and making sure that that which our community needs is actually implemented the best way possible. And this is definitely going to be through engagements. And I'm hoping that my community supports me in the sense that they come through and tell me what the issues are. And that when I come to them, they also meet me halfway. And we are able to have conversations, having meetings, whether it's online, whether it's one-on-ones, for us to just really engage and see how best can we be able to assist and making their lives better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Councillor, thank you for coming through. All the best for the 26th of November.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you.
That is Emma Muteka. She is currently the councillor for Windhoek West Constituency in Commerce Region, and also the swap candidate again for the same constituency ahead of the November 26 regional council election. Thank you for watching.